Good afternoon. It is afternoon, isn't it? Yeah,
well,
it is.
Quickly checks your watch.
It's been a day already, and it's only 12:30.
It's been a weekend, mate. Hasn't
It has, hasn't it? I'm Smash, and I'm joined by
McG, back again on the stream, on the internet. Let's make some. Well, we're not going to make Roller Derby happen. It's going to happen in front of our eyes, in front of your digital eyes at home.
We're going to talk to you about Roller Derby.
Yeah.
We're going to talk to you about the third, fourth place playoffs game for the MRDA side.
Bit of a mouthful, that, isn't it? All the letters.
Too many letters, too many things going on. But it's already going on. It's already going on in front of our eyes. We have got Lord Jack Skatington picking up lead jammer. No, Smash, go home. You're drunk.
No, it was very confusing because Lord was out first, but Skate did actually get lead status. I think both jammers were slightly confused. Even Skate had to glance and go, "Oh, I'm lead. They're not going to get lead." So we do end that very first jam of our game this afternoon on a nil points.
That's fine, I can work with that.
Yeah.
That's a point diff that I can calculate in that it is 0.
Don't sell yourself short.
It's a tie
You
game.
did some quick math yesterday, and I was like, that was cool. And we'll probably have to do quick math again this afternoon.
So taking the star for Kent, skating in white, is Nesta Vipers, and that is Keith Ramparts with the star for Manchester Chaos Engine.
Obviously, Nesta's blasted out, got themselves lead status, and is already coming through to begin their first scoring pass of the second jam. Found themselves a spot on the inside line, dodges that last hit off... what was that there? Yeah, what was that? Ooh, my numbers are bad. It was Tiggs. They managed to sort of avoid that. No, my bad. That was actually Frank Intense. Oh. Wow, that's going to nicely confuse me. Both teams have decided to field someone with the jersey name of 1-7.
Popular number. Saw it in the last game as well. So Nesta, in that last scoring pass, managing to make their way through with relative ease there, picking up those 4 points. He's going round for more. He's gonna try and get some more. That is the point of the game.
Yeah, he's not going to just hang around and just chat to a ref.
I would. In this humidity, it's started raining up here in Sheffield now, so not only is it hot, it's humid.
Oh, muggy.
Muggy.
As my dad would say.
In the northern accent. Muggy.
Well, he's technically from Birmingham, but, you know.
It's like all this weekend, like, it feels like all the announcers are all very much in the Midlands.
Well, yeah.
I've come from the south.
Like, so everybody's from the north from your perspective.
Yeah, anything north of the M4 is the north.
You've had to come up and we've had to come down. Well, that was a very impressive jam for Nesta. That's 12 on the board with one response from Manchester as we go into this third jam. So already bar set high, a 12-point jam there for Nesta. So no pressure, any other jammer, but that's the line in the sand now you've got to beat.
So Serial Killer taking the star for Manchester in this jam 3. Tiggs with the star for Kent. Bench signalling for them to call it. Do. Kent picking up 3 points in that last jam. So Serial Killer putting the pressure on, forcing them to call it off. So not able to pick up the full 4 points in that last jam.
I'm sort of excited because I unfortunately missed our last game yesterday as I had a train to catch, so I didn't get to see Manchester play and only caught a smidge of second-class game, so I saw a little bit of Kent as they played against Tilde. So this is really exciting for me to see these two. I get to see more of Kent and actually get to see Manchester in action.
Yeah. So that is Skate Winslet picking up lead jammer as Rolling for Soup is sent to the penalty box. Not quite sure at the moment what that penalty was for. I'm just going to keep an eye on the screen and update when that comes through. So Kent now with an opportunity to really capitalise on those 30 seconds and look to kind of extend that lead that they've got early on.
I was about to say, as soon as you said that, that's when all of a sudden Manchester defence locked in on Skate and held them down the straightaway from corners 2 to 3. Skate only just now managed to crack out. At least this time round, they are fully aware that they are lead jammer. Earlier than that, the first jam of this game today. So stuck back in, messed up behind a free wall into a 4 wall. Some assist there from a teammate, finding a gap though. We have gained Soup right at the back, so they've now got a tussle with a Kent free wall into a 2 wall on the outside edge. And all that confusion while Soup kept trying to find some space and any angle, Skate managed to whip through, and we've had our first star pass of the game. So early. So Jarvis Shocker is your lead jammer now. Well, not lead, they are just the jammer for Manchester.
So K-Train for Kent being sent to the penalty box for direction penalty. So both teams starting this next jam with one blocker sat in the penalty box.
That's nice and fair, that, isn't it?
That's fair. I mean, less chance of offense, probably.
We've seen some good free walls by both teams already. So now you're just maximising it by only having 3 each.
Yeah.
And look at that, already going back trying to catch somebody, each of them.
So Nesta Vipers jamming for Kent up against Lord Jack Skatington for Manchester. So Lord Jack Skatington didn't actually skate in their game yesterday. So he's going to be one of the skaters for Chaos Engine that's going to be kind of coming into this perhaps a little bit more fresher than some of the other skaters.
Given the toe-stop work we saw right at the start there, I think that's a bit of a signature play there by Skeleton, and a wee apex hop at the end. Like, clearly they had a bit of a nap yesterday. They hung out somewhere cooler than the wonderfully warm venue we're stuck in here again today, here in Sheffield.
They've got some magic AC that none of us have got.
No, they just have AC, because there's none in this building. Just standard AC would be great at the moment. So, yeah, 4 points for Kent in that previous jam, 3 for Manchester. So that gets a solid 4 on the board for Manchester, and also a lead jammer status straight away with Serial Killer there.
So this is the first jam of the game so far that Chaos Engine have managed to pick up lead, and already racking up the points. You know,
6 jams in. That's
six
okay.
jams in.
Yeah, they've allowed Kent some time. You know, yeah, you've had your fun. Yeah, now it's our turn. Oh, Bean Dip there on the outside wasn't quite as successful as Cyril was hoping. Pro was exactly where they needed to be, so a quick call off. And it worked. They did deny Kent getting those points at the back. So a full 6 to Manchester, unopposed by Kent.
Unopposed 6-point jam.
So this is, you just saw it there. This is one thing I do love with this sport. You'll have, clearly both teams high on energy, strong on competition. But when the jammers at the form at the back, you'll see like a fist bump, how are you, maybe a quick hug, some camaraderie. Second that 5-second call goes up from our jam timer, they're like, the eyes change. They become complete enemies. The form changes.
So I was doing a call with Stormy, one of our tournament head announcers earlier this morning, and what they mentioned was a nice little fun tactic. When you're lining up as a jammer, just flirt with the opposing jammer. Like, really throw them off. Like, wink at them, like, blow them a kiss, and just throw them off their game. I want to see that.
I want to see a jammer skate up and go, how you doing?
With the fingers.
Yes.
But 2 jammers that aren't going for that tactic are Skate Winslet for Kent and Keith Ramparts for Manchester. And it is Skate Winslet who makes it out first, picking up lead jammer. Keith Ramparts going for the inside on turn 1, not quite making it and being recycled by Brute. I thought it was Brute recycling. Looks like Brute's actually going off for a penalty.
I think just realising that Skate hasn't actually slowed their stride just yet currently in this jam. They're sort of maintaining like a medium sense of speed throughout. So that's kind of exactly what they would want to keep the momentum of the flow going. Let's see if this... Man, that was a big check there on Soup from Skate. And unfortunately, it looks like that... Yeah, so they'll be taking a breather. Doesn't mean we no longer have a lead jam, and we'll go for the full 2, of which we've only just about a minute and change remaining. It does appear we've also had a star pass by Manchester. Now got a... who have we got there?
Scaripa?
Yes. All of the toe-stop work there, sort of fast, quick, dainty work. I think that they're only now just back up on all wheels as they come out of the pack.
So Manchester having completed their first scoring pass, going to be going around for more. It has felt like Manchester have had quite a few jams recently where they just haven't been able to kind of get any points up on the board, and now we're seeing kind of a bit more of a flow in terms of getting those points up on the board. Oh, nice little pirouette though there, not quite landing it inbounds.
Was that side saddle stride there worth it? Got through. Seems that last check there may have slightly knocked the wind out of Skate. Obviously, if you're going at that sort of speed and you think you've got a line, it makes sense, and you're doing all these spinning around we've seen, you can easily get blindsided by what would be like a legit check, but of course if it's coming in your blind spot, it's going to knock you for 6.
So with Kent picking up 20 points in that last jam, that's definitely the highest scoring jam so far of this game. Obviously, only 7 jams in so far. Still very much everything to play for without wanting to sound too cliche.
I was about to say, like, Nesta set a good bar, and then Skate went, nah, hold my beer. I can do better than that.
Hold my beer. I'm gonna show you some stuff.
And of course, now I'm kind of excited because I spy if this lineup stays for this next jam. We've got Nest there, and let's see if Nest can get us a 21-point jam or a 20 themselves. To say, oh, I'm there with you, Skate. It's not all you.
So Nesta Vipers with the staff for Kent up against Lord Jack Skatington for Manchester. So I remember last year at the Five Nations kind of showcase, some really incredible skating from Lord Jack Skatington. Obviously, both teams that are facing up together in this game have lost their previous games from yesterday. So whether some fancy skating is going to claw that back from Manchester, remains to be seen. At the moment, that's 40, 41. That's maths I can do.
Thing is, as we just saw in that previous jam, Skellington was constantly on toe stops, constantly trying to find space, constantly moving in some way.
Yeah.
As much as they may be being slowed down, they were never stopped, as it were. So we've seen different styles of our jammers. Some have a great sense of stride. Others just want a great sense of positioning.
Yep.
And some of the previous games we've had today, some jammers are just saying, I'm just going to plough into this free wall and push it. Really strung out pack right here, giving the opportunity for Tiggs there to finally get out and become our lead jammer. And actually might have been the most strung out pack we've had so far, really. It was really stretched out. Everyone's kind of wanted to form mini walls, not managed to get separated enough to have to bridge out like we just saw.
So Serial Killer calling to his pack, asking them to stop rolling. Go in for the apex jump. Lovely.
That's what they wanted, wasn't it? Just if you stay there, I can jump the apex. If you go further, I've got to jump a bigger apex.
Stay there. Let me do something cool.
And I'm secretly hoping a photographer goes and gets a great angle and makes me look extra awesome as I whiz through the air.
I mean, it's pretty sure that's going to happen. We've got an excellent crew of photographers here with us this weekend. So, yeah, absolutely. Those big jumps, those, big crowd-pleasing moments, they are going to be immortalised.
One of our photographers has this cool harness with 2 cameras. They're like some sort of gunslinger. and just popping out of each lens. So
I've been doing so much pew pew pew.
We're going to have everyone's finger guns are going to be out of ammo by the time they go home tonight.
Skate Winslet is absolutely not out of ammo. He is lead jammer for Kent. And we have got Frank Intense jamming for Chaos Engine. I mean, I would choose not to go into Chief.
I was about to say, what was nice, though, is they took the inside line, they bounced up Chief, and Chief went, ooh, that was the small of my back.
Something hit my back.
But I suspect that Chief was like, please not there, that's my weak spot. That's my Achilles heel, that's my Achilles lower back.
Bit of a pile up there on the straightaway. Whistles being blown, penalties being assessed. Soup's going to sit down for 30 seconds and think about what he did.
Hopefully they do.
I would not be. I would be just
stewing,
catching my breath, stewing in my sweat.
I was about to say stewing in your anger being sent off, but given the heat, yes.
Both are applicable in this case.
It's interesting you said stewing is a word to someone whose name is Soup. A quick culinary pun there. Nice
So-
little star stash there to Frank
Yeah.
to sneak themselves out. And that does mean that Manchester did get a full 4 for Frank's pass. More points on the board for them. Seems Kent is slightly querying something with referees.
Chief just reliably informing me that it was fully in his bag.
Oh. If you've ever had bad posture all day whilst at work on an office chair and you suddenly stand up, that's like, oh God, it's on my back. Why did I get no lumbar support?
So Nesta Vipers up against Lord Jack Skatington again. I think we might have seen this kind of matchup before.
I'm starting to see the Jammer rotations
Yeah.
are not that deep. I'm going to see a lot of the same familiar faces, but that's good.
You could have said Jammer pools. The pools of Jammers are not that deep. But at the end of that very short jam, it is a scoreless jam for either team. Not a pointless jam.
No
Jam is ever pointless.
Yes.
But some may be scoreless.
Absolutely no pressure if Kent's pivot can get both inbounds and pop that cover on. Yes, look at that.
Look at that.
With a few seconds to spare and a warm. K-Train forms a wall as well. Like, what can't they do?
Big hit there from Tiggs. And another big hit from K-Train, taking Serial Killer to the outside, forcing him to give that pack another go for their initial pass.
That's it. Serial Killer was bounced from the outside to win, and unfortunately was like, oh, there's K-Train again.
Oh no.
Why am I here? Just trying to find any gap on the outside edge there is Serial Killer. Now completely pincered in by a free wall from Kent. Chief joining in to turn that into a complete barrage of 4.
So Tiggs being sent to the penalty box for a back block penalty. So we have got a power jam in favour of Chaos Engine.
Just trying to work out if we'd actually had lead called yet or not.
I believe Tiggs had been called lead jammer before he was sent to the penalty box.
So we will go the full 2 then for this. I would say it's a great opportunity for the Serial Killer to sort of maximise on stuff, but Kent have completely put the stoppers on any forward momentum. We've been very slow. We've only really technically now completed a lap of the track with the pack so far.
So Tiggs now back on track.
Actually, that rest seems to have done them well because they've already got into the pack and out of the pack. Thankfully, it's concertinaed nicely for us to observe here on corner 1. Big check taking Serial Killer to the inside edge. K-Train demanding, no, you come back to where I am, please. I'm going to reset you this deep.
And we have had a star pass. So, Besky drop, no.
Sausage roller.
Sausage
So you got caught out of it.
roller.
Both of them are fielding a 1-4 skater. Unfortunately, it was well timed. As soon as they reached the engagement zone at the back of the pack, jam ended, denying that Sausage roller actually getting any further points with the jammer star on.
So, Chaos Engine have called a team timeout. We've seen a number of times this weekend so far teams using their team timeouts just to kind of stop the flow of gameplay. You know, when your opposition have racked up a couple of jams with some high numbers of points. They're on a bit of momentum. You want to try and be like, no, let's try and claw this back. So be interesting to see if there's going to be a comeback from Chaos Engine. We've still got 13 minutes left of this first half.
Only just halfway through it.
I know.
I mean,
Very high pitch.
there was always that observation of this break could be, as you say, to change the momentum up because has Chaos Engine fallen into Kent's playbook? Are they unfortunately sort of trapped in a way in which Kent have had more control? Because, at least in terms of where the score reflects where they are. So this break might be like, well, we just want to reset it etch-a-sketch moment of clear it out. And like now maybe we can get our plays on and sort of mix it up in that regard.
So that is Keith Ramparts from Chaos Engine up against Skate Winslet.
Frank Intense does their best, but it's not quite enough to deny Skate that lead jammer status.
Love a chase down.
Yes, yeah. I mean, the fact that you've got the determination, and there was a check. Like, Frank didn't just run after Skate. They managed to just bounce out, but it wasn't quite enough.
Followed through.
Yeah. And there, Skate is still finding Frank at the front.
So Crash Mat being sent to the penalty box for initiating on an out-of-play skater.
Comedy Crash Mat actually was going to be my original skate name.
Really?
Because at our old venue, I had to put up crash mats so we could play safe. The venue was that small. But I was told, oh, somebody's already got that name. So I went, all right, I won't bother.
When I first started, I was the only Car Smashian. So I was formerly Tim Car Smashian before I streamlined my name to just Smash.
Oh, will you next just turn your name into a symbol? Like Prince did? Yeah, just like minimize it down.
We'll see.
You thought about that. You gave it a beat and went, oh, I could style that one.
Well, we haven't seen each other in 4 years, and I think I was still going by Tim Car Smashian back then. So if we see each other again in another 4 years, we'll see. So
I'm still here, I'm just still Mugji. Or MCG, as I was called in the very first game, some confusion.
Come back for playoffs in 2027.
Well, let's do it. I'm well up for it. I'm absolutely loving the vibe and energy we've had this weekend. Somebody who's certainly loving the vibe and energy is Lord Jack Skatington, with their first lead jammer status being chased down desperately by Nesta Vipers now, both coming in hot, trying to score some points for their respective teams.
Yeah, I mean, from what I remember, I think that has been the kind of lineup. When it's been Lord Jack Skatington, it has been Nesta, and Nesta's not going to be happy about not picking up lead when it's gone to Nesta every single time.
Well, that's ruined the little like nice little consecutiveness they had.
Absolutely.
I was on a roll and you broke my streak of lead jammer statuses now. Why do you do that?
You have a vendetta.
Yeah.
And you destroy the
let's just see.
opposition.
Like, the next jam, I'll probably give like eyes and see if that happens.
So Serial Killer with the star for Chaos Engine and Tiggs for Kent. It is Tiggs that is lead jammer.
Serial Killer just managed to find a gap, but unfortunately he's now met Kent's wall, recycling very quickly back on top of Serial. Brute absolutely living up to their name with a check to the inside edge on Serial there.
It's just a very strong defensive wall from the Kent blockers there. Serial Killer going for the star stash.
And the stash is successful.
So Sausage Roller now. Got it right that time.
I was going to say, you've gone from like a Serial Killer to Sausage Roller, so from one type of breakfast to another type of breakfast.
Sausage rolls for breakfast.
You just gone to a Greg's? Yeah. I'll wait until somebody like turns up called Bacon Bap, or just decides that's the third member of this like trilogy of breakfast foods.
So Tiggs being recycled to the back of the pack, going to give that Chaos Engine wall another go.
This might be the slowest I've seen Tiggs so far in this jam, but they did take the measure there for a second of like that free wall they're about to chase. Now it's that penalty created an opportunity for the wall to be slightly splintered. Unfortunately, pressure's on them. Weird feeling Tiggs has almost got caught up within their own skaters there, within that scrum of people.
Both walls doing an incredible job of keeping their opposing jammers contained. It's going for the full 2 minutes.
I think this is the energy levels have gone for Tiggs there. There was some wonderful jamming early on, constantly spinning and like flipping their hips to always be presenting their back.
Yeah.
But I think that sort of like energy level just dipped as we got into the tail end of those 2 minutes. But one thing that didn't dip is the score that Kent have got. They have broke the century mark. It was a 12-point jam for Tiggs, taking them to 108 in total.
And 8 points for Manchester. as well, which, as a percentage of their score so far, pretty darn high.
Yeah, considering like how sort of like compacted that prior jam was, that star pass was sort of well played right at the right moment.
Chief just decided to just sit on Keith Ramparts.
But Ramparts was all right. They both got up. They shook it off back up on their skates.
So far, Skate Winslet has had 100% lead.
What?
Every single time.
Well, actually, I shouldn't be surprised when I think about it. Like we've been calling it, we've been seeing it.
So far, he's lost one for a back block.
Oh, so he was lead, but then
Yeah.
did a bad. So at the moment, still maintaining that sort of a streak of lead status. A passive lineup by Kent there. Unfortunately, a great check to the outside edge, a deeply resetting skate.
Well, we are in a power jam situation with Keith Ramparts being sent to the box for a cut track penalty, so Kent with an opportunity to...
Yeah, obviously extend the lead, but that was a great play by Manchester, sort of locking the momentum out of skate. As it were. We've seen him being so speedy so far in this game. Again, like slowing them down, like that's just like killing time on the clock.
Yeah.
Like, you know. Oh.
Ooh.
But it looks like didn't quite catch the gesture. But we are losing skate to the penalty box, so we will get Keith's back on now. It's this wonderful high angle view we have down on the action, bird's eye, as it were.
It's a high block penalty
Thank
being
you.
assessed on Skate Winslet.
My wife would be disappointed as a ref that I didn't recognise that, but you know, I'm mostly jam time, so I'll play that card.
It's been a while since I've been SO'd.
You still knew what it was, made me look bad, so good on you.
Didn't, it was all painbow. Thank you.
Yes, the secret producer behind the scenes is controlling
This
us
is why
both.
we have producers.
Makes the talent look good. So that's a 12-point jam to skate, even with the time spent in the box. Team timeout has been called. And that will be by Manchester.
If there is any ASMR going on that you can hear on the stream, I am just fanning myself because it is very, very hot.
It is. I think I've become like a lizard on a rock, kind of acclimatized to the warm.
I have not.
Uh,
I am just a perpetually sweaty mess. Put your teeth in, smash.
no, I think it's one of those things where it's like I've accepted my fate.
You have accepted that this is who you are now.
I exist in a state of warm, and that is it. Like,
Warm and moist.
yeah. The fact that I was able to crack the car window open on the drive down with Coco this morning meant, well, we had airflow. Because I did the train yesterday, and you can't crack the window open on a train. So,
No.
well, you can, but then the conductor kind of really frowns at you, and you get in a lot of trouble. And I haven't got that sort of money, so.
So we are coming out of that team time out now. It was a team time out, wasn't it?
It was indeed a
It
team
was.
time out.
I'm just doubting myself.
Don't doubt yourself.
Don't
doubt
do that to yourself, Smash.
No. Be a shouter, not a doubter. There you go.
I'm not going to shout into the mic, though. That would hurt everyone's ears at home. We've got Lord Jack Skatington dancing around lane 4, but is going back to the back of the pack.
Thing is, it doesn't matter if they went back to the pack. They found an inside line
Still
straight
lead.
out.
Still lead, isn't he?
Yep.
Twice he's managed to pick up lead over Nesta
Oh,
in a row.
secretly in my head, Nesta's fuming like, whoa, shaky fist.
Thing is, he's such a lovely guy.
I don't know. I had a chat with him in the previous game, and like it was like quite taken by that. So Jack's coming round on like their next square pass, whizzing through, getting caught up by a free wall with a quick call off. Did they actually bank any additional points for that last pass?
Another 2. So 6 points scored for Manchester in total, bringing the score to 39 to Manchester Chaos Engine, 120 to Kent Men's Roller Derby.
Unopposed as well, those 6 points.
Unopposed 6 points.
So not only did I get lead over you, Nesta, you didn't get any points. So
Multiple scoring passes as well. So as it stands so far, no one on either team on more than 3 penalties. So relatively clean game so far.
But a big sprinkling across the board. Everyone's been a bit naughty.
A fair few people with no penalties.
Well, give them time.
Give it time. People will get hot. People will get tired. Serial Killer has got the star for Chaos Engine, but it is Tiggs who is lead jammer for Kent.
Serial Killer, we got checked to the inside earlier and almost took out one of our jam refs as well, bless them. Thankfully, nicely absorbed by Warp Gen there.
So that Chaos Engine will, not making it easy for Tiggs to get out. Sausage Roller taking him all the way back to turn 1.
That's a deep reset.
Giving Serial Killer an opportunity to, I think, did I see an Apex jump?
I think I was
recycling.
I was more observing the drag back, but that was enough for Serial to get momentum and challenge Tiggs. Actually, I'm coming back round. What are you gonna do? Call it off, mate. That's gonna have to happen. Otherwise, I'm getting points from my guys. So.
Yeah, that was Serial Killer's initial though, so no points to be scored for Manchester in that last jam, but for Kent as we go into jam number 19.
19 jams. It's been. I know we've said a few times we've had full 2s, but this has been actually quite fast paced still.
Yeah.
Well, Skate continues to maintain their streak, lead jammer status yet again.
And Keith Rampart's being taken to the back of the pack after being hit off ever so slightly. He was only off by a tiny, tiny bit.
Great play there by Chaos Engine. Skate tried to do a juke to the outside edge, assuming it'd be fine, but was caught, really slowed them down. They were sort of kept in that pack for an additional 10 seconds, which is exactly what Skate doesn't want.
So back block being assessed on Skate Winslet. So power jam in favour of Keith Ramparts. I spoke too soon. Curse of the announcer. It's no longer Keith Ramparts. It's Rolling for Soup. We've had a star pass. We've got a minute left of this jam. So it's going to run for the full 2 as lead was assessed on Skate Winslet. So
Soup getting a good strong 30 seconds of unchallenged potential scoring as the only jammer on track.
Those Kent blockers, though, they are a challenge.
Yes, yes. Skate's now back on. Gets straight into that 4 and then enter into a free wall. Footwork looked good, but wasn't good enough.
Skate Winslet going for another penalty, a cut track penalty that time.
They're currently, unfortunately, sitting on 4 penalties in total. 2 just have been earned in this last jam. They seem to have such a clean sheet, and they managed to double it in 1 jam, unfortunately. Precious seconds of this jam left. Traxalls with Soup, but they get stuck straight into a Kent free wall.
But it does mean, going into this next jam, that Skate Winslet is going to be starting in the penalty box. There is less than 10 seconds left of that penalty, but Chaos Engine have also got one of their blockers in the box as well. So yes, they've got that power jam start, but they are missing one of their blockers.
Quick mini shout out to K-Train, who was pivoted in that last jam for Kent. There was great awareness as in that last moment they were sort of bridging, but bridging and glancing back to see what Manchester would or wouldn't do to challenge and support their jammer.
Big hit from Brute there on Lord Jack Skatington.
Shook it off though.
Yeah, I mean, as a jammer looking some big energy kind of going into that jam start. Skate Winslet now back out on track, picking up lead jammer. We've seen that quite a lot over the weekend. Jammers starting in the penalty box and able to actually pick up lead coming out of the box, which is an incredible feat.
I think we've seen a lot of sort of if the jammer lead status isn't given as like a snap instantly at the start of a jam, it's because we've got a slower, more like controlled defense pack happening, which is sometimes to the advantage of sort of the recharged jammer coming from the penalty box, as it were.
Yeah.
Because they've probably got a better angle to assess what's happening with this wide view.
You've got time to, let's just scope out what's going on. and we've been reliably informed that Skate Winslet is still on 100% lead Jammer. Yes, he has lost it.
But it's always
times,
been.
But it's always been
the
given
game.
to him.
So like the Undertaker at WrestleMania has the perfect streak. When will Brock Lesnar turn up to break it? We'll hopefully find that out in our second half, because the first half just ended.
That's gone so quickly. Where has that half an hour gone? We will be back in just probably 8.5 minutes.
Yeah, that
Go
sounds
put the kettle on. Go have a bicky.
Two sugars, please, if you can. If you can run down the motorway down to Sheffield with a couple, that'd be great.
We've got the officials' room. We can go and steal their beverages. We will be right back. Enjoy your break. See you later.
Bye.
Hello.
Oh, hello.
We are about to start up again for game 3 of day 2.
Yes.
Of this wonderful tournament that is Five Nations Roller Derby Playoffs 2023. We are in the midst of Kent Men's Roller Derby taking on Manchester Chaos Engine. Kent skating in white and Manchester skating in green. Just to fill you in if you are just joining us.
Yes. Unfortunately, if you're watching this at home on a black and white telly, then that doesn't really matter, does it? It's green, does it appear as well? So it's a very dark green, I'll give it that.
It is a dark green. It's high contrast, whatever
That's
it is.
That's actually what you want.
That's all that matters.
Comically, I've worked with enough colourblind officials who are like, thank goodness this is high contrast. So we had quite a free-flowing, speedy first half.
It'll be interesting to see how the 10 minutes of sit down and regroup is going to impact gameplay. But we have got Nesta Vipers taking lead Jammer for Kent and Serial Killer for Chaos Engine going and sitting down in the penalty box for a cut track penalty. First time Serial Killer has actually received a penalty at all.
Oh, that's ruined their clean sheet.
This game.
Oh, what a shame.
He's done very well at keeping it clean.
But he has continued to be quite mean on track. But as I mentioned before, like sometimes that penalty box rest is the recharge, the refocus you might need. And we've seen it more than enough times where someone's come back out of the box and like capitalised on it, played an aggressive play to force a call off, or in a few occasions actually get themselves lead as it hadn't been called yet.
So Serial Killer now out of the box and giving that Kent wall a good old try on their initial pass.
Nest getting stuck on the inside edge, desperately trying to find a space being provided by their pivot. One last line of defence and eked it through.
So Serial Killer being sent to the box again for a second cut track penalty. I thought for a second that it was just his hand that had gone down. No.
Eagle eyes from all of our officials.
Biblically accurate angels. That's what refs are. They can see things because they have all of the eyes.
Did we ever get a definition on how many all the eyes was? You were bringing this up yesterday?
Someone from the crowd did come up and give Snooks an answer. I can't remember what it was. I'm doing a call with Snooks later. I
Baker's
will get
dozen.
an update. 13 eyes.
Well, Serial Killer will start the next jam from the penalty box. They are stood, so they should be there for less than 10 seconds. Hopefully straight into the action. I mean, it looks like we're having a pivot line start.
I've said it so many times this weekend, but what is this, 2017?
Yeah, and for a fraction of a second there, Soup was challenging and putting a single toast up on like the pivot line and trying to lean back. Tiggs is straight into the action, forcing their way through. Frank Intense tries, but it's just quite not good enough as Tiggs is out and also lead.
Serial Killer back now on track.
Straight away into the back of that wall, but then straight away to the penalty box for a back block. A wee bit too forceful, unfortunately. Tiggs finds an outside edge, but also finds Frank Intense wisely quickly back on track as Frank also went down, giving them the opportunity to get straight back on without having to reset. Kent allowing the returning Manchester blocker to join their teammates rather than attempting to trap them at the back. Maintaining that passive wall for the tail end of that jam.
So Serial Killer being released from the box right at the very end of that jam. So opportunity for him to sit down, have a bit of a breather.
Yeah.
And for Chaos Engine to field a different jammer. So we've got Lord Jack Skatington taking the star. But we are going to go into an official timeout. Opportunity for officials to do official business.
Looks like one of our jam refs is double checking stuff with our OPRs. Obviously, you always want to get that clarity of what was legit. Obviously, you've got those OPRs on the outside, like so effectively your wing mirrors, your rear view mirror, like the other side of the coin to see what's going on. Not seeing any gestures just yet to change. Looks like our jam ref's gone back to have a quick powwow with the rest of our inside crew.
So we still have 3 more games after this one this weekend. We have got, after this game, we have got the WFTDA 3rd, 4th place playoff match. That's going to be between North Wales and Manchester Valkyries. So that's going to kick off at 2:30. We've then got the MRDA final. So that'll be the Inhuman League up against Crash Test Brummies. And then at 6:30, we have got the Woofter final. So that's Hallam Hellcats up against Wiltshire Roller Derby. But right now, we've still got this game going on.
Yes.
We've got Skate Winslet and Lord Jack Skatington.
Skates found a gap on the inside edge. A bit of a strung out pack, giving the opportunity to whiz through. Jack, though, lightning fast, back on their toe stops, and they too are out. Both initial passes have now been completed. Skate finds an outside edge to hop round, calls it, just as Jack meets the 4-wall of Ken blockers. And Jack managed to get a cheeky 1 as they snuck in at the back there. So, not quite as quick as Skate would have liked to get that call off. Takes Manchester now up to the full 50, halfway to that possible century they could earn today. You can just see it right at the back of the camera there. Fisty bumps from both our jammers just before the whistle went.
But it's no flirting, though, is it?
That's true, true. Clearly they didn't get the memo at half-time.
So Nesta Vipers picking up lead jammer for Kent. Keith Ramparts jamming for Chaos Engine. Keith taking off the star.
Frank Intense always just seems to magically appear at the front of the pack to challenge the opposing Kent jammer.
Everywhere they need to be.
And I would argue, like, as a jammer, you should be able to mark them out because they've got this, like, big bright cyan helmet on. Like, how could you not see that?
So just incredibly fast and agile kind of lateral footwork from Nesta Vipers there. Just such incredibly sharp turns.
How are their ankles still on? So we've lost Keith to the penalty box, hence why we had that slightly more passive defence wall from Kent, rather than the sort of the challenging pyramids we've seen them doing so far, 3 and 4 walls. Obviously, Bless, obviously it's not on camera for you guys at home, but Keith is obviously in the penalty box giving us a wave to his bench saying, no, I've got the star, don't feel the jammer, it's okay. So we're going into, well, we were about to go into potentially Jam 5. About a bit of a streak of 4 jammer penalties so far in this half for Manchester. Glancing over at our wonderful piece of technology, it's a bit of a bit all over the place with the penalties. Everybody has had a few. A couple of people though have managed to keep a clean sheet. It's been a very intense contact game so far. So obviously I don't want to jinx anybody.
It is the typical kind of curse of the announcer. You say something is happening and it won't happen. You say something won't happen and it immediately does.
As you end that statement.
Yeah, and it's something that don't know. Hopefully, I'll end up learning is to just
I think
learn to be quiet.
I think the key thing is just go with it. Make your observations. Like you may jinx or unjinx something. Like just keep it flowing.
But it's when you say something is going to happen and then it does happen, and you're like, no, this never happens.
But then
Why is this happening?
embrace that moment. Be excited.
Be
that
excited by the fact that I was right for once.
Off the cuff, just said, "Oh, this never happens," as someone does like a spinning apex jump. Then you know what I mean.
So one of the games yesterday, it would have been, I believe, Oxford-Manchester. We went into halftime with a tie game.
Yes, I was in the audience for that. Pretty much everybody was doing the sort of hung jaw, like oh face, pointing towards the scoreboard.
I felt sick.
I have just realised we've been in quite a long official timeout, thanks to our penalty timer not doing one part of the birdie song. They are actually gesturing that we are in official timeout. And the reason you at home might go, but gee, it just says we're in lineups, is because we have had a slight technical faff. The scoreboard, thankfully, isn't smoking. There's no sparks, but some part of the fantastic technology we have is not quite working the way we'd like it to.
So you're stuck with us and our voices for a little while longer.
Because understandably, of all the technology we have today,
but there's dancing, though.
Chief there is sort of not quite in sync with everybody.
He's begrudgingly doing it.
Yeah, there's not quite as much hip action from Chief as there has been from K-Train there. So it's like I can't not, right?
I have to be seen to be attempting to have fun.
Because I know what will happen. Someone will call me out if I don't do it.
Oh, and it will be me. It will be me. I can because he's my coach.
Obviously, I was just mentioning earlier that the one thing you do want of all the technology we have today, outside of the fantastic array of tech that's streaming these games for you, there's a huge, I feel like I'm in sort of like a proper TV studio here with all these like control decks, sliders, glowy buttons, laptops, ample cables. No tripping hazards, fantastic cable management has been observed all through the weekend. So obviously the next biggest piece of tech is the scoreboard.
I took my headset off for all of 5 seconds and I was like, what have I come back into? Cable management. How did we end up here?
I was letting our home audience know that we have a fantastic array of technology, and obviously outside of the streaming services being provided, the next most important piece of tech for them at home is actually, and for us here in the arena, it's understandably the scoreboard itself. Due to the way this is working, that's why we've dipped and lost the overlay. Because it's all being provided seamlessly. So as points are given by our jam refs to our scorekeepers, and they're passed over to our scoreboard operator, and they tap the buttons there, poof, it all appears magically on the digital overlay for you at home. But if that scoreboard just goes, I want a blue screen, and can you install a Windows 7 update, then that's not going to be great. So you might not quite be able to see it. It's just peeking at the bottom of the screen there. The actual scoreboard projector is giving us a basic Windows background. But obviously the way in which the technology records stuff and in the background, and we have backups, obviously with the scoreboard, scorekeepers themselves are writing down what's physically happening. So we do have paper technology, old school recording stuff.
I did something fairly recently where things ended up having to be recorded like fully on paper, or it was like something happened with the scoreboard, it went down.
I'm aware of one game where I think the projector broke. So the technology worked and everything's been recorded, but understandably, no one was aware of like, well, how much time is left? Like, obviously the jam timer knows, but the benches wouldn't. What's my current score? Well,
That's
the scorekeepers know.
You
but
always
the
have
teams
stopwatches.
don't. Yeah, so there's multiple like redundancy backups. Like, whatever you have at home for your normal scrimmage, we still have here. On like, doesn't matter like low or top tier, we still have stopwatches and clipboards.
We just want you to be able to see what's going on at home.
Well, I think someone turned it on and off again because our overlay has reappeared, so that's a good sign.
And the numbers are moving.
So They seem to have
Apparently
reawakened
there's
it.
cartwheels on track as well.
Thankfully, the score has been sort of maintained from where we were before we had that technical blip. So that's solid. And we're still as many jams in. So, like I say, all those redundancy backups have worked perfectly in this regard.
The scoreboard went down.
Technical issues.
Yeah.
Pet the dog.
So, yep, things are starting to come back up. As Seth decides to show me his nubbin.
Yeah, we'll just focus on the technology. Look at the
And not
streams.
Seth.
Yeah.
I think that's a good rule to live by in life.
Seth did at least come over to let us know what we already were aware
That's
of. So
very,
good.
very kind of him.
You know, obviously we're here less of the way on a table at the back of the hall with these fancy big headsets on, surrounded by all this like sea of snaky cables, as it were. So it is nice that somebody out there
He's looking out for us.
Yes.
Yes. The oft forgotten people of roller derby. The talky people.
I've been at a few venues where like people doing the stream have been hidden away in an upper balcony, which is a great vantage point. But then anything happens down in the actual hall, and you're like, well, what's going on?
I love that on stream though, being up. Because you can see things.
Oh yes.
I like being able to see things.
The thing is, we also need to maintain in those scenarios that the camera array is providing us as great a view, because there's nothing worse than you seeing something awesome that, like, oh, well, we haven't quite got cameras on the thing that just happened because of the angle, but I've got this beautiful, like, vantage point. But you at home have maybe not. But we are absurdly well served today.
We're also further away from the bad smells of the sweaty skaters.
Yes, true, I'll give it that. We've got, as you've been bearing witness all weekend, multiple camera angles that we've been switching to, maintaining sort of as best visibility as possible to the action as it flows around track. Several of our skaters just getting a few laps in to sort of stay limber, shall we say.
Yes.
Obviously, we had a mini dance-off, so obviously 1 point there, style point to Kent for that. Manchester not dropped style maybe in a few moments if we go on. Some cardboard we trucked on track. Manchester will break out their fly breakdance moves. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, more dancing on track. More dancing, more flirting, more things that are not roller derby.
So what you're actually asking for is a roller disco. Because you
Apparently.
want more dancing, more flirting.
But points to be awarded at this roller disco for when you overtake people. Like, it's still roller derby at its core, but more roller disco elements to be included. I think that's what I'm asking for.
Disco flares and roller skates, though, that's not a great
I'm
combo.
going to come up with a new format. I'm going to do a like survival or sevens or something, but different. I'm not really. That sounds like far too much effort.
But hopefully, you've lit the spark of imagination for someone at home.
Yeah,
There's a
anyone
business
listening-
opportunity. You've got a massive warehouse, which is enough space, but no one plays derby where you live. But everybody loves vintage music from the 70s, and
Yeah,
get a roller disco going.
Yeah, I mean, new format derby that's not more fun, because this is fun. We love roller derby. Roller derby is a great time, but more chaos elements to be included.
You just want to make it trickier.
There you go. That's where you go with it. You combine roller derby with classic PS2 game SSX Tricky. So Uber tricks are required. More point. There you go. You get the style points. You want to see some cool stuff? You combine roller derby with snowboarding. That's how you do it.
So you also want roller derby on ice, which is basically ice skating.
How many sports can we combine in one?
I will say that growing up, one of the biggest disappointments is discovering that the Tony Hawk's games lied to me, and cassette tapes and the letters SKATE don't magically float around for me to jump up and collect when I'm in like industrial warehouses.
So I've never actually been skiing or snowboarding, so I imagine that if I ever do...
Your fabulous shades you've been wearing this weekend lie.
No, these are just...
This is lost to you at home on the stream, but you have to imagine this like fabulous cyber rainbow reflective pair of shades Smash has been sporting that instantly make them think they should be on-piste down, getting so much powder off the Alps, or instantly should be in charge of some sort of cyber gang in Neo Tokyo.
I'm just the most garish person there is.
But you're sporting this wonderful shirt of many skeletons.
I've had already...
You brought spooky season to you.
I've had at least 2 compliments. Not necessarily in person, except from you, McG. Thank you.
You're just getting telegrams from people going, "What a lovely shirt, sir. Thank you."
Morse code.
Not in person. But how are you receiving
Semaphore.
them?
Homing pigeon. That's how I'm receiving these compliments on my shirt. It's spooky season. I love this shirt. It's from Georgia Asda. It was a gift from my wonderful
Wait, is this a
friend.
sponsorship read now?
Yeah. Get your shirts, your spooky shirts from Georgia Asda.
It's Asda price. Slaps the side
Slaps
of it.
my bottom. It was a lovely gift from my wonderful friend, Cherry Droppier, number 66 from Dorset Roller Derby. Oh my God, snakes! Oh, we used to call this a cuddle train.
I feel that somehow the sport we are streaming has changed somehow.
It's like they've listened to me and my requests for a different game. Because that looks dangerous as heck.
I was about to say, staying with our roller disco theme, it does look on one level that a complete blend of our skaters have formed some form of elaborate soul train on track. Although, I'll give them credit, they are creating a wonderful draft that is being flown towards us.
Paper products lifting in the breeze that is being created.
For you
that
at home,
snake of skaters you can see on your screen.
You at home, we are reset deep behind effectively corner 2, which is on the right-hand side of your screen, and the breeze is reaching us from completely over the OPR lane and then some. So
if that could just be the rest of this game, that would be incredible. I'm sure
it would certainly not be as warm as it has been.
I feel like every one of the announcers on the stream throughout this weekend has at least commented on, if not complained about the heat this weekend. And I think it is just worth mentioning that the stamina of the skaters that are actually taking part in this sport that we're here to watch, it's incredible that they are still upright, still skating. So because we've been out of play for so long, Stormy and MC have resorted to old school tactics.
Yes.
To keep things going.
Our in-house announcers are not tethered by cabled microphones.
So you may see.
There they go.
There you go. There's Stormy and the MC running around doing a Mexican wave throughout the entire sports hall here in Sheffield. She's still going. They're still going. Go on, Stormy. Keep it going. I was going to stand up for this round.
I think that's MC's realised their limit and has decided, no, I need to stop.
So if you can hear any residual cheering, that is people cheering for Stormy and MC, 2 of our wonderful, wonderful announcers on our crew this weekend.
And big shout out to our in-house audience. They had wonderful energy for all the games we've had so far this morning, and maintained it. I appreciate that some people might be here. Obviously they're aware their team might be now in the finals and they've got to wait it out till later this evening. But they've not let any game go by without whoops, hollers, and proper excitement as we've had some changes in play all morning, and this game included. A few times off. Obviously, our mics aren't picking up. There's been good pops from our in-house audience, sort of keeping the energy going.
The way you said pops, though, it made me think a socket out of place. I was like, I hope there's not pops coming from the announcers. Who's broken a limb? Pop that socket back in. No dislocation on my watch, McG.
Well, that's the key thing is we do have AMTs as you can appreciate in any game, like, and thankfully,
Yeah, but they're for the skaters.
no, they're here for anybody.
I know.
All right, but the great thing is, like, I always want to turn to EMTs when we have them at any game, like say hi, thanks, like how aware are you of roller derby, and like obviously several leagues keep hiring the same EMTs because they're familiar with it and they get excited and they go, oh, who's playing? And what I secretly always want is them to just have turned up and sit down and just get to watch like a whole couple of games of derby. You don't actually want them to do anything because you've had good derby that's like clean and safe, as it were, and everyone's like been fine. There's been moments today, but everyone's been able to get back up off the, up and back to their bench, and we've been able to keep everybody safe in that regard. Big shout out to, I would say our heroes in green, because they are actually wearing green. That's not to misconstrue them. They are not also representing Manchester Chaos Engine, although currently they are sat right next to the Manchester Chaos Engine bench area. So it does look like they've got these extra two, like almost military grade bench staff that have joined them. Right, it does seem that we have hit a moment of technical confusion because, as you can see with our overlay, we have lost all information. I have glanced Sticks and Stoner, one of our major organisers, now checking how things are happening, or what appears to be kind of not happening from our scoreboard.
But until told otherwise, we will.
The show must go on.
We will continue to say words at you. Because that is our role for the weekend.
Well, the great thing is, as much as it might be a technical issue, maybe some form of overload or something like that, the best moment I'm aware of a scoreboard being inoperable. I was informed of the game in which a league had set everything up, but they'd not brought a laptop, as you'd expect. They'd bought a large base unit for a PC for the scoreboard operator to provide, and that was set up, but they decided to set that up on the scoreboard table. The game was quite hot and heavy, and one of the skaters was hip checked to the outside quite forcibly. That skater then tapped the scoreboard table,
God.
and then, like the largest pile of Jenga, the PC tower fell, hit the floor. There was one single spark and a little bit of smoke, and everything stopped.
Oh no!
And obviously, the biggest the worry was then double-fold because the scoreboard operator now had their technology fail on them. There was no scoreboard, just pause in play. But more importantly, potentially their entire PC that they brought from home had died.
That's not good. So we have just been informed that we may have an issue with Wi-Fi. And that might be the issue that we are encountering at the moment. And it means that the officials crew may have to resort to manual paperwork. So kind of like you were mentioning earlier, McG, you've got contingencies in place for such eventualities.
Now, thankfully, it's the Wi-Fi that's gone down, because otherwise, our fantastic tech support to our side would have told us much sooner that the stream wasn't going out to all of you at home. We've just been sat here talking into mics to nobody on the internet. That would have been a bit annoying.
That's fine. It's all good practice. And I don't know. I've been informed that there are people from Dorset watching today, and I feel like if it had gone down, maybe one of them might have dropped me a message.
Well,
say,
thank you to those of you in Dorset, and hashtag show must go on.
Well, I'm going to put it out there. Hey, Dorset, if you're watching and listening and you can hear what I'm saying, can you just drop me a message and be like, hey, Smash, yeah, you're doing
creating
great.
live chat?
I'm doing it.
Yeah.
I'm doing a live chat.
Can we get a hype
message
train
and
going?
I will do shout outs. But we have got a score in the upper left hand corner of your screen, hopefully.
Which I believe has been slightly updated to grab the 4 points that were earned in the last jam before Tech went. So that's hence why we're on 174, not the 170 that we were on just moments ago.
The scoreboard in the hall is looking like a scoreboard. The penalty table is looking like a penalty table. We might not talk about penalties in the second half of the game if that doesn't get updated, but it's fine. We roll with the punches here in roller derby. It's all going to be great. There's going to be more high-octane thrills.
Now, hopefully, the technical issues we've encountered in this game, they may or may not impact the prompt start time of some of our other games that are remaining this afternoon.
Yes.
Obviously, we were due to jump into a game at 2:30. And glancing at your watch on your wrist, that would be about 45 minutes away. Nice and seamless. So hopefully, with whatever remaining time we officially had for our second half, that we'll still play that out. You know, no one's going home just yet. But there was a lot of like buffering around every game. Obviously, we'd never imagined something as disastrous as this happening. But you would never want to just assume like, oh, it's only 2 halves of half an hour. It's only going to take an hour to do a game of roller derby.
It never.
I always say it takes 2 hours to do 1 hour's worth of work in roller derby.
Yeah, because you've got half time. You need to allow for. You always plan for the worst. You will try to anyway, in terms of additional time for potential injuries, any sort of issues that we're kind of facing, such as at the moment. But you know. We are a community that loves what we do, so sticking around a few extra minutes to just make sure that it all goes smoothly is fine.
If we do end up sort of running close and long, I think we may have shorter intermissions between our later games, because I'm slightly led to believe there might be a hard out where we can't quite stay like our final game tonight can't go on into Monday morning, unfortunately.
No. I mean, I've got work tomorrow.
Ponsford's been a great host to date, but I think at some point one of them is like, well, can I go home? I've got to lock up.
At some point they will want rid of us.
And as much as I was led to believe that several of our teams have decided that they would... Ooh. Now, that was a big whistle that we heard from our jam timer.
There's a whistle.
I see we have glancing over. I believe that Keith Rampart is back in the penalty box, so hence why we only have the one lone jammer for the lineup for this next jam. Well, skaters are ready? Officials are ready? Are you ready, Smash?
I did just do a big yawn, but I am absolutely ready.
Your honesty is beautiful. Thank you ever so much. I'm glad you're awake and back with us as we begin our game this afternoon.
And we have got Tiggs jamming for Kent, but is being recycled to the back of the pack. Going to give that Chaos Engine wall another go and picks up lead jammer.
Keith Rampart straight out of the box and attacking the 3-2. Now, one wall that Kent tried to present, but it wasn't enough. He bursted through their ramparts and has made his way out to start his scoring pass.
So Tiggs cooling off the jam before Keith Ramparts is able to put any points on the board for that jam. We are going to be going into this next jam with 2 blockers from Chaos Engine in the box. So Kent with a bit of a pack advantage as we go into this.
But there have been a few times this weekend where we've had like lighter lineups, but they've either still proven a challenge for opposing jam skaters. It shouldn't seem as easy. And as always, bless, Frankincense was like, no, I'm still here at the front. What are you doing?
I'm at the front. I will do the things.
Skate Winslet now has still maintained their lead jammer status streak. Who will steal this title from them? Both jammers are out, able to score. Jack now coming around for their first scoring pass.
And Soup taking Skate Winslet all the way to the back of the pack.
So almost a handoff there from Soup to Frank to sort of say, right, I can't hold Skate back. Maybe you have a go.
You try the thing.
I almost thought for a second that Frank was about to be given the star. It looked the way they gestured with their hands. It's like, no, Soup, you can't star pass a pivot cover to somebody else. That doesn't work.
High fives.
A big 10. That's what we'd like to see. Kent starting one blocker down at the moment. Ness finds a space on the outside. Tiniest gap, but they were through. Bit of a tumble there, but Cyril's straight back up on their toe stops, gets checked to the inside edge and deeply reset by K-Train.
An illegal contact penalty being called on Beskidrock for Kent.
Nest thought they had a line, took a tumble, was checked by Manchester's sort of rear wall.
So Nesta calling the jam from the floor there.
Still a legit call-off. I've seen people call it from the air whilst spinning around. You know, it's as long as you are the lead jammer.
Yeah.
I mean, I've also seen it unfortunately happen where someone managed to call the jam off and they weren't, but then they got a penalty.
So Serial Killer picking up 4 points in that last jam. Ooh. That jam being called. Start of that jam going very quick, a bit faster than anyone was really expecting.
Yeah, I think we were coming out of that previous jam thinking like, did Nest take a bad tumble? But they were fine. But we weren't actually in any form of pause of play.
There was no timeout called, so it's your standard 30 seconds between.
I've got to say, great hustle from all of our skaters making this jam legit happen, and no one getting sent off for illegal positioning. Tiggs completing first scoring pass, nice and smooth.
Keith Ramparts on their second scoring pass, just some just big energy really, and just determination to get through those Kent walls.
He's now in Tiggs' shadow. We've been losing skaters, 2 in the box. It seems to be almost a rotating door at the moment. As soon as one of Manchester's leaves, one of Kent's enters.
So with Keith Ramparts having kind of secured 12 points on the board so far this jam, this is now the biggest jam of the game. But Keith Ramparts now being sent to the penalty box for a cut track penalty.
Penalty box is looking very full at the moment. It's only just like, technically, as long as we don't get anybody else, then we should be fine.
It's just Keith and Frank.
Only a handful. We've only got like 3 blockers defining the pack. I believe there was a little bit of confusion because Scarpia, I believe, is waiting to go to the penalty box and is now, that's hence why they're now leaving the track. Round of applause to our penalty box staff there for maintaining that.
I would be terrified of that situation.
There was a game, I think, yesterday where pretty much at every point somebody was being sent in and out, and we sort of joked that any fast order chef would have been impressed by the level of maintain that our penalty box staff maintained through that.
So I mentioned that that's the highest scoring jam that we've seen so far for Chaos Engine, but it's also the highest scoring jam that we've seen for Kent. So Kent picking up 24 points in that last jam, breaking the 200 mark.
Nice.
And we're one past nice, McHugh. We're one past nice. That was 12 points picked up for Manchester in that last jam.
One thing I will observe is I believe it was Tiggs who was jamming for Kent in the previous jam. Getting that 24 points, which I think steals the crown from Skate, who previously had like the highest points there. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's a bit of like envy and rivalry. Oh, no, I thought I was scoring the most points from my team.
Friendly competition within the teams.
Now we started very light with our pack, as there's still many skaters. Just 1 left, but we've gained another Manchester skater to the box. So a constantly revolving door of whom's making up the pack definition at the moment.
So Keith Ramparts on track as the Kent jammer is sent to the penalty box. I may have missed what that penalty is.
Now, do we know if Skate managed to actually get themselves lead status before they were sent to the box?
I'm sure they did. Oh, it's Skate Winslet. Of course he did. So we have had a star pass from Chaos Engine, and Rolling for Soup is now jamming for Chaos Engine. So this is going to run for the full 2 minutes. It's been a while since we've had a
Yes, we've had a lot
jam.
of hit it and quit it quick jams in general. Only a sprinkling of longer 2-minute jams for both these teams. Soup's keeping the pressure up on what was a 3, now a 2 wall. Thought they'd found a gap on the inside edge, but quickly reset themselves.
There we go.
Taking a great opportunity with that quick fracture between those two Kent blockers to find a gap straight down the middle. Unfortunately, now that we've got sort of everybody back on track, it's a little harder for Skate to find a line. Took them the entire straightaway before they were able to break out. Precious seconds left on this jam. See how people can capitalize on it. An attempted assist there for Skate, didn't quite work out.
And an additional 2 points for Chaos Engine in that last scoring pass. So picking up 6 points, 9 points for Kent. And score to 76 to Chaos Engine, 225 to Kent.
Right. It feels weird to say, but we're only about halfway through this second half. But obviously we've had the big pause in play due to technical difficulties, so it feels like this half has like gone on forever.
So it's a point differential of 149.
It's very quick maths.
Not my quick maths, it's Painbow's quick maths.
So there we go. I got you to admit it.
I do not do maths while I have a microphone in front of my face.
So
It's too much pressure.
Countdown. Countdown's not your favourite game.
No.
You don't like spelling either.
No. That's what computers are for. They do it for you. Spell check, babes. Heard of it?
The version of Countdown where a wiggly line appears underneath and you can correct it to be what you want.
So that is Lord Jack Skatington with the star for Chaos Engine and Nesta Vipers for Kent. Nesta just putting his head down, looking like he's taking a little nap. But Nesta is...
Both jammers are now out. It was great that Jack's managed to get a sort of one-up on Nesta. We've seen them sort of back-to-back sort of jammer rivals.
Yeah.
But I believe this is also like Manchester's first lead of this half. So breaking the dominance that Kent has had so far. Wonderful little skip on the inside line to maximise their speed. Jack getting cleanly through.
Again, Frank being at the front of the kind of wall of Chaos Engine blockers, going for the hit on Nesta, but Nesta just like, no, I'm going to keep going, even if it means going through you.
I don't think Jack's stopped their stride so far. They seem to be maintaining a wonderful pace. Great praise to their teammates for creating lines of opportunity for them. Now, of course, as soon as I say that, they meet a free wall at the back of Kent's blockers and are momentarily slowed. But any gap's a gap that Jack's willing to take as they find any opportunity to burst through.
But that last pass, you know, the strength that we've seen from the Kent blockers so far this game, it's been intimidating.
Yes.
And, you know, they managed in that pass especially to make it look, fairly easy. We've had Nesta sent off to the penalty box for a cut track penalty at the end of that jam.
That's just happened. Oh, my God.
But also, we have got Chaos Engine's biggest scoring jam of the entire game. That was a 16-point jam from Lord Jack Skatington.
Oh, nice.
Absolutely, that's a whole 4 points on top of what they've previously done.
This is the sort of the momentum that Manchester want. It makes sense why Kent have called a timeout, because Kent will be like, well, we don't want Manchester to get their stride on. Like, we're in charge. This isn't your game. This is our game. And like Manchester's like, no, we're going to bring it. We're going to challenge it. We're going to rattle it at you. We're as hungry as you are for that sort of bronze medal. You know?
It is lunchtime.
Oh, I'll give you that. Okay. And this game has been long as well.
It has.
So it makes sense, outside of tactically, why you would want it. Like, these skaters had a lull, a bit of fun, you know?
A bit of dancing,
Yeah.
a bit of the Macarena.
But that means you've got to, you've had an interruption. If you've been in game mode, the only time you should turn it off is when the game has ended.
Yeah.
And it's like, you don't want to be all out of sync as it were.
And it'll be interesting to see if they've kind of left anything, like both teams, if they've kind of left anything in their reserves. The MRDA teams only have 2 games to play. The WFTDA side teams, those teams that have been playing today already, they've got 3 games across the weekend to play. It's a different kind of game where you need to have some reserves of energy to get you through the tournament. We've got Serial Killer now taking the star for Chaos Engine with a Power Jam start.
That free wall of Kent blockers has been completely doing everything in their power to slow Serial down. We've only just managed to make it onto the straightaway between corners 2 and 3. And that's been 30 seconds of complete defense by Kent, doing absolutely everything in their power to shut down Manchester's progression.
Nesta Vipers making it out of the pack and is awarded lead jammer.
Frank Leicester, as always, Frank in sense doing absolutely everything in their power to deny them. I think at this point, like any Kent blocker, Kent skater is just praying Frank's not anywhere near them or in the lineup.
So we have had a star pass from Chaos Engine.
Frustratingly, just as our pivot turn jammer from Manchester gets to the back of the pack, the jam is called by Nesta, locking in the 4 points they'd earn for that very fast lead pass they gained straight from the penalty box, keeping Manchester at their current 92-point total.
Tig's just hiding behind Keith Ramparts in that jam start. Like, I'm going to hide. You're not going to know where I'm coming from.
I scan-read the names that appeared on our overlay and then looked down and went, wait, we've got 2 people on the board and I can blatantly see no one's in the box.
There's Tiggs. He's out of the pack, picking up lead jammer.
Keith also finds the inside edge, following Tiggs's his lead flow through, getting themselves out.
I really appreciate the coordination that Keith Ramparts has. The fact that he's got green tape holding his pads together.
Oh, I've just, as Keith whiz past us, I went, agreed, yes?
Yeah, green tape.
It's Manchester now calling for a team time out.
So this is Manchester's last team timeout. They do, however, still have their official review for this period. So if they decide, actually, we want another timeout, you can just use your official review.
I know it's really frustrating as a NSO when like a team does that, because you've still got to fill the paperwork out and just write they used it as an official review.
It's like a waste of paper.
Yeah. And it's even worse when no one's used an official review and then they do it like really late in the game and it's like, well, you know, I've printed all this out.
So you can't win.
No.
Can't win either way.
But as we've seen, technology is great.
Until
old
it's
school
not.
pieces of paper, pens and pencils, stopwatches, you know, jumpers for goalposts. That level of like support is needed still, just to make sure everything flows right. Obviously, there's no jumper for goalposts in this game. Right? Actually, why would you have a jumper in this weather?
I've seen people in this current heat
I'm wearing a cardigan over my shoulders.
And then people actually like wearing hoodies and stuff, and I'm like, I could never.
Were they fully emo though?
I'm far too insulated.
Was it like a Dennis the Menace stripy jumper that was a bit threadbare?
No, but that sounds fun.
It does.
Like a bit Freddy Krueger.
That's it. Does Dennis the Menace grow up to become Freddy Krueger? Is that what we're saying? Have we solved the mystery?
They've got the same wardrobe.
He just gains a hat. And a hatred for teens.
So we have got Skate Winslet jamming for Kent. Just throwing blockers, throwing Sausage Roller to the outside. And Lord Jack Skatington for Chaos Engine.
This does mean, as we've been observing, Skate has still maintained this beautiful run of their lead jammer status, which with the 10 minutes remaining, if they can like finish the game on that, that would be like an exceptional stat to have as a jammer.
Ooh.
You put me on, I get lead. You put me on, I get lead. We have observed sometimes you put me on, I get lead.
And
I
lose it.
I do a bad and get to the penalty box.
But I still got it in the
Yeah,
first place.
I still got it.
You can't take that away. The knowledge that I got it.
Yeah. Can't deny me my medal. I earned that lead status.
So Nesta, talking of lead status, picks it up in something ridiculous, like 7 seconds.
I did blink, and like, as I opened my eyes, like they were already coming around the apex for corner 1.
So reforming from the Kent wall has been lovely. Like, it looked for a minute like it was just K-Train to beat, but the next second, that's a full wall of blockers that you've got to contend with.
I secretly now want K-Train and Frankincense to be on the same team, because you're not getting through.
As like last line of defense.
Like, yeah, like you're just not getting through. Like whoever they're buddied up with, like it's not happening. Like, they'll form something, and then if you manage to get past K-Train, Frank would be ahead of you. That would be the merger I'd look for in the future. So if you're ever thinking of doing a MRDA charity like event and you want like some awesome teams, like get those 2 as your blockers on your team. That'd be a lot of fun.
So we've seen a bit of a shift in terms of kind of the point distribution for Kent so far in this half. So in the first period, we saw that Skate Winslet had picked up the majority of the points for Kent.
Mm-hmm.
We are seeing a bit of a shift now, and it's Nesta Vipers that is picking up the majority of those points for Kent. So, a different game being played. But at the moment, we've got Tiggs jamming for Kent and Serial Killer jamming for Manchester.
Yeah, I think those trips to the penalty box that we've seen Skate has sort of like dipped their points-based average, because obviously if you're not on track whizzing round, you're not earning points.
So Brute from Kent being sent off for a high block.
So 4 points for Manchester for that prior jam. And likewise, 4 also for Kent. Everybody gets 4 points.
Everyone gets 4.
Everyone gets a nice wavy hand of 4 points. I just glanced over and quite interestingly mirrored. We got both pivots sat in the penalty box.
Yeah.
Both Wisleys decided to sit on the furthest chair in the penalty box. So some nice symmetry there. Obviously,
Probably
you can't see that at
sat
home.
where they're instructed to.
Yeah, well, that's the key thing. I think as fast as it sounds, like as long as a skater does what they're informed by penalty box staff, it doesn't matter what you got sent off for. If you come in, sat down, 30 seconds, stand and done, that's great. If cheekily, as we say, done, and you leave, you turn around and say, "Oh, thanks." That's extra nice. And then there's 1 or 2 men's roller derby teams in particular that have picked up on that habit that I've officiated, and that's been sort of really nice. It's just like it's giving you that bit like, oh yeah, feels really good, because obviously sometimes you're either, as we've observed, really busy as a penalty box staff,
Yeah.
or if teams are skating clean, you're not at all. So. Now we have shifted to an official timeout, hence, as you can see on stream there, the big huddle of our herd of zebras, our referees gathered. And there may have been an exchange, obviously, again, off camera for you at home, for the Manchester pivot that was sat in the penalty box. It's been quite an intense game, so there's a possibility maybe we may have had maybe a foul out for one of our Manchester skaters.
It did look like the Manchester pivot did enter the box. I didn't see anyone leaving the box, but I did see someone enter the box. We haven't got information to hand with regards to the penalties for this game since our technical glitch earlier. So can't reliably inform if someone has fouled out.
Just going on sort of gut feeling on what I'd observed.
We've jumped to conclusions. Thank you, Painbow. Pivot from Manchester being just checked over by the medics.
So we have had like a swap, so someone's sat serving as pivot for Manchester in the penalty box, maintaining the fact they are pivotless if we go into our next jam. Because certainly we don't want to return to track anybody who has any form of injury, quite frankly.
No. Going to do, just while we're still in the timeout, just a very quick shout out to Blushes. My neighbour.
Your neighbour?
My neighbour Blushes, and also fellow Dorset skater. She's just sent me a picture of her TV. And it's
exactly what we're seeing.
It says 7:15.
My word. So, thank you, Blushes. That's very kind of you.
Thanks for spending money.
Absolutely no pressure
to us.
Anybody in my family WhatsApp chat or any member of my colleagues at work in the work WhatsApp chat who we're sent links to. If you've decided to tune in this weekend and you're catching me live, please send something to my phone so I feel important and special as well.
Sorry if I made you feel. Have I made you feel lesser?
No. You put it out there into the void. You said if you can hear us, let me know, and they have. So thank you.
I want to know
thank you, Internet.
that people are actually listening to us. So far for this half, for Manchester, the majority of the points in this half have come from Lord Jack Skatington. He's picked up 21 of those points. With, as a collective, Manchester picking up 47 so far of their 96 this half. We have still got 7.25 minutes left of this game.
It's always somewhat testing on a jam timer that, yes, I must be touching my shoulders. But there's a point where you start quite proud, elbows straight out, perfect right angles, and then there's a bit after time where you go,
does it droop eventually?
Yeah, and then as I've done, is like you roll your shoulder just to sort of wake them up. Now this is a pet peeve of mine, a little behind the curtain for you. Many moons ago, several jam timers started to sort of wave their arms in and out, and then the crowd would play up to it, and you'd go,
oh,
and that's not legit. You shouldn't do that,
and
it annoys me terribly. You are not there as a showman. You are there to time a game.
I am always here as a showman.
If you're a jam timer,
excuse you, McG.
You project your powerful voice and you shout 5 seconds and everything goes whisper quiet and you blow that singular powerful whistle. That is your moment to shine.
You know who else is a showman? Skate Winslet's a showman. Easily Jammer.
Again. We've only got just under 7 minutes remaining and that streak has not been beat yet.
So one thing that the people watching at home might not know is that as announcers over this weekend, we get to give awards too.
Yes.
Not just the skaters that are handing out awards this weekend. We get to choose some too. So I feel something like the fact that you have been lead jammer genuinely 100% of the time.
I'm just going to step in here, Smash. Now you said it on mic. That streak's going to get beat now. The announcer's curse has been cast upon Skate. You realise what you've done.
Damn it.
You have cast a jinx with 6 and a bit minutes left.
I should have kept my mouth shut.
It was not an opposing jammer that broke the streak. It was Smash casting a spell on poor old Skate.
No, I said something in one of the games yesterday and it came true. And I was like, call me a freaking oracle. It's like, I've wished something into existence. But we'll see if we can do it again. Is Nesta Vipers jamming for Kent and his lead jammer, but Serial Killer with some serious speed coming around the track, and the pack picking up speed with it as well.
So it might be the speediest we've been for a while, actually. OPR is getting a bit of a workout, trying to keep pace with our pack. Jam is called, and nobody gets any points. Was getting a bit sort of a chase away there in that previous jam.
So I've been informed that it's not just blushes.
No.
It's Chuck, Rebel, Tasty, Ellie, and Stitches. It's not just blushes. So
That sounds like a motley crew with those names.
it's a cracking group of people. But this is my last time on the stream, so this is the last time I get an opportunity to shout
bless
out
you.
to anyone that's watching.
Take those opportunities, Smash. Take them. Right, well, Tiggs is out lightning fast, earning themselves lead jammer status. And one thing that'll make probably things a little easier is I've glanced and seen that Frankincense has been sent to the penalty box. So Tiggs will potentially go unopposed right at the front of the pack now. Their nemesis has gone.
You weren't able to. I don't think it was caught on camera, but Brute went for a big old hit on Lord Jack Skatington, and Brute just didn't get up. He just looked like he wanted a nap.
We have lost Tiggs, though, due to a back block, so we will go the full 2, of which we have just over a minute and 20. Just got Tiggs remaining, so everybody else is on track at the moment. Jack being caught, probably the slowest they've been so far this jam. They've now only just managed to make it back round to 4 and the jam line. Catching their breath as they come around the apex of the straightaway. Tiggs out lightning fast to attack that Manchester back wall. Almost lost their footing on the inside line.
Chief's done something naughty. Chief's going to the box.
Obviously, if you were joining us yesterday, I believe Chief decided to just also ref a few games. Yes, as well. You know.
Chief has done everything.
Except this.
Except
so back
this.
off, Chief. This is ours.
This is my gig. Get your own. Find something else to do other than skate, bench, coach, ref. Ugh. Sickens me.
Just trying to complete that roller derby access bingo card and get all the punches.
He's got too much time on his hands, clearly.
Oh, he's found that magical 8th day of the week, clearly, so. Well, that jam ends, and glancing, 14 points apiece. So, yeah, like, that was an impressive show from both of our jammers in that.
I'm not sure if that stampede that is currently going on behind us,
Behind the curtain behind us.
is being picked up on the mics, but the next game is due to start in 13 minutes. So the teams for the next game will be obviously looking to warm up. So yes.
Well, speaking of 13 minutes, we've gone into an official review asked
have
by
gone into
Manchester.
an official review.
So this may...
First one of the game.
True, this may sort of slow us a bit, but that is completely reasonable because, understandably, we were,
Oh.
and it is exactly as you called it.
Oh, Painbow, I'm sorry. I don't know why I'm sorry. I know they're using it as a timeout. That's just a...
So we will go the full minute for this.
It's a bit of a pain for Painbow. Producer Painbow.
I mean, if it makes things better for Painbow, there was the disappointment of also MC dashing in and being turned around and told it's being a timeout. So both of you walked back to your respective positions as producer for us on stream and one of our house announcers. So. Well, that's the official review timeout has ended for Manchester. Just shy of 3 minutes remaining on the big old period clock.
So that last jam, 14 points apiece.
Yes, I was suitably impressed because the action looked very tight and defence-based by both teams. Again, what we've been seeing all afternoon from Kent and Manchester. Tiggs starting with I'd say it's very, so not Tiggs, that's Skate Winslet starting with a bit of a lineup. One line of defence, it's always been Frankincense. But wait, have we lost Skate to the box? Is it happening in front of my eyes? Has Serial Killer broke the streak?
I'm not taking credit for it. You said Serial Killer's done it. You said Serial Killer's
Well,
taken
Serial
that streak.
Killer is our lead jammer, and Skate Winslet is in this jam as a jammer, and their name is not flashing on the overlay on stream. Their jam ref is not pointing at them. They're currently sat in the penalty box. The streak has been broken, sir.
As long as you're not blaming me by wishing it into existence, that's all that matters for me.
I think Serial Killer heard your heavy praise of Skate Winslet's run and went, no, that's not happening.
Sorry, that was the most glorious footwork there from Serial Killer. Oh,
Was it too glorious?
it was too glorious to behold.
So-
And he's going to go and sit down and think about what he's done.
Well, this will really burn the period clock as we'll go the full 2.
Yeah, and there will be time.
Yes.
There will be time for another one.
One more jam. One more jam.
One more jam.
Because every time you say that, some technical thing happens and maybe it doesn't happen.
Were you there last year for the overtime jam in one of the MRDA games?
No, but I have
Someone's peeking through the curtain.
I have my own wee overtime Tam story, so please go ahead.
Oh, it was just very, very stressful for everyone involved. I know Painbow was there. I was just watching. I wasn't involved in any way, but it was very, very stressful.
We had a game hosted by Mansfield Roller Dummy a good while back, and the game reached the end. I had Scott as my head ref. I was the jam timer, and we went into an overtime jam, and they glanced and said, "You know what you're doing?" And he said, "Yes." And we had 3 overtime jams back to back to back until we actually had a change where we could define a winner. Thankfully, it was the last game of the day, so we had buffer room to run it. But to say the crowd was up on their feet in that small venue is an understatement.
So after that jam number 19, Manchester Chaos Engine picking up 4 points, Kent picking up 13 points. We've got Serial Killer starting this jam in the penalty box. We've got Nesta Vipers with the star for Kent. There's only 15 seconds left on the period clock. This is likely to be the last one.
Nest gets lead. Could Nest earn themselves 12 points and break 300 for Kent?
Oh,
Manchester has also broken the century with the prior points they'd earned, so that's your box on your roller derby bingo card filled for both teams breaking the century mark. Serial Star stashed and is doing their best to hustle through, but Kent have got eyes on where they are.
I can imagine Kent are going to run this jam.
Certainly feels like it so far. Serial's only just got out to potentially begin their scoring pass from Manchester. Serial's already managed to bank 8 points so far. One more pass gets him the 300. Frankincense and Nesta is all that's left, but Frank just goes a bit too far. Earns themselves about a plate penalty. Nesta calls the jam directly in front of us.
Very kind of him too.
And there, the full 12 gets themselves 300 points to Kent men's roller derby.
So 118 to Manchester Chaos Engine, 300 to Kent men's roller derby. That is a point differential of 182. Thank you very much, Painbow. Just hold off a second. Yeah, it's changed on the scoreboard. That is confirmed as the final score. So, third place in the MRDA Tier 2 going to Kent men's roller derby.
My word.
Very, very well deserved. Hard-fought game from both teams.
An intensely played and technically long game.
Technically long game.
Game was long.
Can confirm, game was long.
I have
Points
absolutely
were
no
scored.
idea how long we've actually ran because we were meant to begin, I believe. But
We would have started at 12:30 this
so
game.
here we are
it's
for the
just shy
full
of 2 hours.
almost the full 2 hours to do 1 hour's worth of roller derby.
I'm jumping straight into producing. So,
I really need to go to the bathroom.
and with that, far too much information. I've been Smash,
I've been McG.
and we've been joined by Painbow as our wonderful, wonderful producer this afternoon. Thank you for joining us. We will see you guys soon. Bye-bye.